Hi everyone. Welcome to Shirley's Strange Tales. I'm Shirley, your late-night companion for creepy stories. Tonight, I'm taking you through two strange, car-related stories. One is the infamous ghost ride-hailing incident that swept across China in 2016. The other comes from a netizen's account, a bizarre experience of his cousin, a taxi driver. I'm sure many of you have taken a taxi or a ride-hailing service before. So, are you ready for a spine-chilling ride? Buckle up, close those windows tight, and let's get started. The 2016 Ghost Ride-Hailing Incident. Back in 2016, ride-hailing services were still relatively new in China. Platforms like Uber and Didi were blowing up. But that same year, strange and terrifying events started happening all over the country, later dubbed the Ghost Ride-Hailing Incident by netizens. Picture this, it's late at night. You're standing on a deserted street. Everything is so quiet that you can hear your own heartbeat. You open your Uber app and call a car. A driver pops up, but the moment you see their profile picture, you freeze. The face is pale, twisted, like it crawled straight out of a horror movie. Even stranger, the driver's name doesn't look human at all. Sometimes it's a string of random letters and numbers. Other times it's just random symbols. Before you can react, your phone flashes, trip completed. Wait, what? The car never showed up. But somehow, the money has already been quietly deducted from your account. On the map, the car seems to teleport instantly to the destination. And it gets even weirder. One woman in Beijing hailed a ride near Tiananmen Square. The map showed the car traveling directly through Zongnanhai, the Chinese government's central compound, to reach her destination. Did the car grow wings, or open a portal? People online went nuts. Some were terrified, some furious, and most just mocked. That profile picture is pure nightmare fuel. Screenshots of these ghostly driver avatars spread across the internet. There were countless rumors. Some said the images came from corpse photos at funeral homes. Others suspected hackers were playing a cruel prank. Eventually, after journalists and experts investigated, the truth came out. It was actually a high-tech scam. Criminals exploited a loophole in Uber's facial recognition system, uploading scary AI-generated avatars to create fake accounts. They never sent a car, just clicked complete trip in the app, then used Uber's auto-payment system to steal money instantly. Many victims said the money wasn't the worst part, it was the avatars. Imagine seeing that at midnight on your phone. Who wouldn't have nightmares? That's some serious, magical trauma. The 2016 ghost ride-hailing incident became a dark legend of China's ride-hailing industry, and it left a lasting shadow over taking rides late at night. But the creepy car stories aren't over yet. The next one will send an even colder shiver down your spine. Are you ready? Let's hear a netizen's story about his cousin, a taxi driver, and a strange late-night passenger. The eerie passenger in the midnight woods. My cousin is a seasoned taxi driver. He spent years driving around our small city, mostly on night shifts. He knows every dark alley and narrow street like the back of his hand. He's a hardcore atheist. When passengers told him ghost stories, he'd always laugh them off. Ghosts? Come on, there's no such thing. But one summer night completely changed his mind. It was around 1 a.m. last year. He was cruising through the old part of town under dim streetlights. The streets were so quiet it felt like the whole city was asleep. Suddenly, he saw a young woman waving for a ride. He pulled over. Under the light, she looked stunning, oval face, big eyes, slender figure, wearing a cool summer outfit, like she'd just stepped out of a bar. My single cousin couldn't help feeling a little excited. He quickly invited her in. But as soon as she got in, the mood shifted. She sat quietly in the back seat, head down, saying nothing. He tried to make small talk. Where to, miss? Her voice was cold, distant, like drifting from far away. Anywhere is fine. I just broke up with my boyfriend. I need to clear my head. Don't worry, I'll pay the fare. My cousin froze. A midnight joyride just to clear her head? Something felt off. But business is business. He pressed the accelerator and drove on. Soon, the temperature inside the car dropped. It was midsummer, and the AC wasn't even at full blast, but it felt like he'd driven straight into a freezer. The windows fogged over. When he breathed out, his breath left visible marks on the glass. He glanced in the rearview mirror. She still sat silently, head down, expressionless, like a shadow. They wandered the city like that for hours, from bustling streets to deserted outskirts. The fare was already several hundred yuan. Finally, they reached a pitch-black wooded area at the city's edge. Suddenly, she spoke, "Stop here. I need to go into the woods, to use the bathroom." My cousin's heart skipped a beat. This place was completely deserted, with no streetlights, just trees. What was she doing in there? But he forced himself to stop the car. "All right, go ahead. I'll wait here." Without a word, she stepped out and disappeared into the woods, swallowed by darkness. Sitting in the car, my cousin's unease grew. At 3 a.m., was she really just using the bathroom? Or was she planning to ditch the fare? Several hundred yuan down the drain? He summoned his courage, quietly got out, and followed her under the pale moonlight. The woods were eerily silent, broken only by his footsteps. In the distance, he saw her standing by a large tree, murmuring softly, like talking to someone invisible, and even laughing quietly. His heart nearly stopped. Who could she be talking to in the middle of these woods? Then, she suddenly turned and stared straight at him. Her eyes were icy, piercing, as if looking right through his soul. Terrified, he ran, jumped into the cab, floored it, and sped home, fare forgotten, heart racing. Now, some might say, "Hey, that wasn't nice, leaving a woman alone at night." But let me ask you, what would you have done in that situation? Personally, I wouldn't have the courage to let her back in my car. Later, when he told me this story, his voice was still shaking. To this day, he isn't sure if that woman was human, or something else. If she was just mentally unstable, why was the car freezing cold? And if he hadn't followed her, would she have returned to the cab, continuing that strange ride? He said he was glad he peeked into the woods, otherwise, he shudders to think what might have happened next. Since then, my cousin never takes late-night fares lightly. As he puts it, drive enough at night, and you're bound to run into something strange. That night became a nightmare he will never forget. So, what do you think? Chills down your spine yet? From the 2016 ghost ride-hailing incident to the eerie midnight passenger, cars at night always seem to speed up your heartbeat. Have you ever had a scary experience like this? Maybe something strange happened during a ride, or you saw something odd while driving late at night? Share your story in the comments below. That's all for today's episode of Shirley's Strange Tales. If you enjoy creepy stories, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Shirley, see you next time, with even more thrilling stories.